I'm still practicing going live. I can't wait to talk to more people. I'm really excited. And here's the kind of subject matter that I love discussing. Very broad topics, such as who is the greatest military leader in history? Now, even before we get into some names and some usual suspects, let's define what I mean by that. What I mean is, if you had the exact same army on one side with the same training and the same soldiers as you had on the other side. So basically, an army that is cloned of itself, and you just have a certain leader that which makes the only difference to the army. Who would you rather have? So, for example, if you have the same proverbial chess pieces in your army on each side, which chess player or military leader would you want to have in command? Now, that really makes it fascinating because obviously some people are good with a sleek, small army using guerrilla tactics, and some people are ingenious at moving large armies and putting them in position and thinking of all the logistics for that. Now, in my opinion, the person who I would want is Napoleon, and the reason is it's in relatively recent history, he came extraordinarily close to taking over the world. Now, I know he didn't come very close to taking over literally the world, but he came close to taking over Europe when, at a time, Europe had colonies all over the world. And if he would have beat England, uh, who knows what would have happened. Obviously, speculative alternative history is something I'm also interested in, but I try to keep my own channel to facts and try to keep my opinion out of it as much as possible. So obviously Napoleon's a clear candidate, Genghis Khan's a clear candidate, Hitler's a clear candidate. So to be clear, some people are awful and evil. You could make a case all of the people are. I'm not making a judgment on their character. I'm making a judgment on their skills. And a lot, when I mentioned Hitler, for example, he shouldn't be on the list for this reason. I know in World War I he was actually a soldier, but he wasn't a real boots on the ground leader. He was just saying, and luckily let me scratch that. Unluckily for the world, he did have extraordinarily competent generals that made the war competitive. Thank goodness that evil side didn't win. But someone like Napoleon would be drawing the battle plans, not sleeping at night because he's so into what he's doing, and thinking of laws and how to do civil uh, infrastructure, and his mind was ingenious. As he's not sleeping because he's so busy making plans for upcoming battles, he was writing letters, doing political activities. But enough on Napoleon. I'll give you some other obvious people. Alexander the Great, Julius Caesar, and here's a wild card pick that might get everyone's attention. There's a case to be made that Dwight Eisenhower is the greatest military leader who ever lived. Here's why. During World War II, he was the supreme commander of all of the Allied forces. So he had the biggest amount of soldiers under his control that anyone has ever had in recorded history. When he later became president, a lot of people in a tongue-in-cheek way say he's the only president who took a demotion to become president. So instead of being in charge of all of the armies in the free world, he was only in charge of the American army. So Dwight Eisenhower was so tactically brilliant, but to be fair, similar to what I said about Hitler, that he's not literally on the ground making the plans, Eisenhower's greatest gift as a military strategist was dealing with egos. So the amount of World War II generals who had insanely huge egos is a very long list. People like Patton, Montgomery, and most of all MacArthur are just, it would be so hard to deal with these people. In fact, MacArthur was so hard to deal with that Harry Truman, it's too hard to say that he fired him, but Harry Truman got rid of MacArthur, in the military sense of the word, because MacArthur's ego was so big and he was taking on, wanting to take on powers that were above even his station in the army. Here's another fun fact that you might not know. General MacArthur wrote the Japanese Constitution. Isn't that amazing? Like, some of these military leaders are so smart, and they're almost like Renaissance men, or in other words, like polymaths, in that they have such expertise in so many different fields. And to be a great military commander, it takes someone who is great at a lot of different things. Because the number one thing about commanding a military is to expect the unexpected. So the better prepared and the better you can pivot are the way that you will get ahead and come out victorious in any battle. I'm going to keep this short and sweet. Obviously, I'm not driving, because I would never drive and be on my phone at the same time. But I'll talk to all of you history fans later. If you're interested in more of this kind of content, which I know you are because you're watching, and thanks again for watching, just write in the comments what you'd like me to talk about, because I'm a history generalist, and I do have a degree in the discipline, and I can't wait to share more of my thoughts and ideas with all of you. Peace, and have a great day. Talk to you soon. Bye.